and sit down.
Hello folks, Colin here, Festa 67's workshop. Welcome to issue number 58 of Legends of Ferrari F1, the die-cast 1/24 scale model collection from our good old pals at DeAgostini. Now, if you'd like to grab these for yourself and start collecting these beautiful Ferraris, and who wouldn't, head over to their website. There's a clickable link in the description below. And you too can be collecting these. So who have we got this week then? We got Ferrari's F92A from the year 1992, driven by Jean Alesi, folks. Look at that. Hey? Oh. So let's have a quick scoop through this week's magazine and see what we've got. It says here the F92A, beautiful, it says, but hard to handle. So it looks like and sounds like it was a little bit of an handful. So let's have a looky-loo then. This is the car outside Maranello, looking rather sexy, isn't it? I mean, yeah, beautiful silhouette. This is the F92 power unit. Had the same architecture and displacement as the two F191 engines, the 642 and 643, with the same power and revs as the last version of the 1991 V12. The decision to opt for more constrained power in order to increase reliability allowed the use of springs for valve return. V12s, folks. Oh, back in the day, eh? Oh, I yearn for that era. The cars just look, yeah, it looked and sounded so much better. It says, like a fighter plane there, most of the design ideas Jean-Claude Mignot has proposed in his designs for Formula One cars owe much to his training and experience in the aeronautical sector. Yeah, they were a bit like the old cockpit of a jet fighter, I must admit. And John Barnard, he later visited it as well and tried to streamline the cockpit of the F1 cars. This is true Alesi style, it says there. Loads of blurb in the magazines, folks, so give them a good old read. They're well worth it. There's a brief in there on the F92A with all the stuff there for us nerds to look at, so that we can see what all the stats are. We do like that. And this is a very young-looking Jean Alesi, who you still see in the paddock even now. Still mooching around and doing his thing. And, yeah, very, very amiable and personable fella from what you hear through the media and that. He was always good for a quote and always very friendly. So, a dying breed, bless him. Loads more blurbage there on Jean Alesi, the man himself, and his hopes and aspirations for his F1 career and what he wanted from Ferrari and how he kind of felt a little disillusioned towards the end of his career, bless him. But I think he did all right myself. I think he committed himself very well to the sport and conducted himself very well. And this is a profile of Mignot himself. Little bit of blurb on him, what he did, how he did it. So give these a read, folks. That's the magazine done for now. So we'll put that to one side and we'll bring in the model one and have a looky-loo at that for you. And there she is, folks. Arrives in the usual display case. I've kept my slip cover on and just been round and trimmed the cardboard off. Comes in with the Ferrari badge on the left-hand side. Description of the car, the Ferrari F92A Jean Alesi from the year 92. So we'll pop this out of the case, we'll bring it onto the bench, and we'll have a looky-loo at what we got this week, folks. And there you go, folks. So that's the top-down view there that we've got for you. Looking at the very distinctive vase-like shape as it comes along there for the nose cone. Up towards the driver there, you got your slightly extended ducting going on there for the air intakes, where they just moved it away from the bodywork and splayed it So it sort of kind of looks like a lobster claw poking out on the side there. Comes along the side there and sweeps right into where the rear diffuser and the back of the engine cover is. Quite a wide front wing, and also if you notice how deep it goes, right up underneath the suspension here with these little winglets poking out underneath, which we'll look at in a minute. You'll notice there's no halo, pre-halo era. Looking down into the seat there, you can see your harnesses and all of that lot going on. Very clean body shell, no massive chunks of aerodynamics lurking around, are there? It's very clean and I think quite sexy looking. Quite a skinny, narrow width of the rear wing there. Looking rather tiny compared to the modern cars. Looking from the side here, you'll notice the floor has almost got a step in it where it's like a double floor. The car seems raised up and then you've got little stilts underneath that the floor plate sits on. Almost like a giant secondary bib that sticks right across the floor of the car there. And of course the air would scoot along and it would press down on this and go right underneath here, sucking the car down on this floor section, but still allowing for a very fast stream of air between these two planes to fire out of the rear of the car. Again, you've got very tight end plates there, very naked almost. Not a lot going on with them, but they do their job. This is the looming jaws view that they would have had of the car looming up behind them. Very basic wing elements there, flat planes that come up and around the front there. You've got your ducts, quite long suspension wishbones back in the day. You'll see what I mean about these radiator intakes there. There's a gap between the car where the air can just scoot up and scoot along this part and in through these louvers at the back there. And it allowed these just to step out slightly and get more of an intake of air. When you look underneath on the floor and you see how flat the floor was, you've just got your cutouts there for the diffuser. But if you look at the wing there underneath, you can see it's almost scalloped where it comes up and underneath like that. So the air would come up and then it would go through this little channel and just pull these bits down and the nose of the car and it just suck it into the ground a bit more. Exposed inner wheels there where you could see all the brake discs and everything. Didn't have the cake tin back then. It was exposed brakes and calipers. But as a fan, you got to see the glow of the brakes as they slowed down into the corners. I found that really quite nice to look at, to be honest with you. Looking inside the cockpit there at the driver's eye view, very sleek, narrow nose there. PlayStation steering wheel with a flappy paddle gearbox. Few buttons on the steering wheel there, quite minimalist compared to today's cars, full of dials and gauges and LCDs. Looking at the back of the car there, you'll notice the exhaust's coming out just above the diffuser. And again, you've got little winglets poking out here. But you can see on this floor where the air would come right up through this floor. You can see where it's like a double layer, where the air would scoot between these two layers of floor and come up through here. Very clever little concept, to be quite honest with you. Probably didn't work as well as they intended, and I think they come back to this idea later on in a secondary iteration of it and then shelved it. But I'd like to have seen them pursue it just to see where they could have gone with it, because I think it was quite innovative at the time. Very clean, very beautiful and elegant looking Ferrari of this era. Again, when you look at how exposed the driver's head and shoulders were back here. And, this was before the loss of Senna and Jules Bianchi, when halos and side protection came in. And it is, even in this era, surprising how exposed the drivers were. But again, I love this torpedo rounded shape of this nose area of the car. It just looks, like you say, like a fighter jet. Very beautiful, very elegant looking machine. So there you have it, folks. That is Jean Alesi's Ferrari F92A from the year 1992 for you there. Beautiful, beautiful example. Don't forget, if you'd like to collect these beautiful 124 scale models, pop over to the DeAgostini website. There's a clickable link in the description below, folks. And you too can be collecting these. Also, to help me out, you can just click little festa and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Helps keep the channel alive, keeps it growing. Ring the bell whilst you're there to get notified of future content. Remember to like and hype the video. It really does put it out there. Let people come and see me that maybe not be aware of my channel. In the meantime, thank you so much for coming in and keeping me company. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Until then, stay safe and well. Bye-bye for now.